What's up, guys? Welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks, and today we are going to be looking at 10 staple red cards that I think are worth their price. Now, first up, this may just be me, right? Terror of the Peaks. I love this guy because I love creature strategies, I love red, and I love Warstorm Surge. Well, this is just Warstorm Surge tacked onto a creature, and that turns out the difference between that is about $40. Insane, I know, maybe not this one for everybody, but I love it because it's a creature and it's an effect that I really like. Next up, we have the Reaver Cleaver. Now, I told people to pick this up as soon as it came out because it was going to go up in price, and it has. It just seems, obvious. You deal damage, you get a ton of treasure tokens. That's broken because you can store those, use them for later turns, have an explosive turn out of nowhere. The Reaver Cleaver is a really good card. Jessica's Will, another card I think everybody knew was going to go up in price, and it has. Not only does it give you mana, but it also gives you cards to use that mana on. Anytime you can get cards and mana off of one card, the card's price is going to go up. Professional Facebreaker. Finally one that's not too high, but again, this one, it can net you mana and it can net you cards. Pretty solid, especially in those treasure strategies. I will play this in a go wide strategy if it is the only treasure producer though, because it's just that good. Next up, Stormkiln Artist. This one's pretty simple. You cast an instant or sorcery, you're going to get a treasure token. I think you guys can see a theme here. Treasure tokens are super powerful, and you guys should be running any treasure token generators in your decks. Anger. I love Anger. Anger is a personal favorite of mine because I love creature strategies, and giving a creature haste is one of the most powerful things you can do. It essentially, gets rid of that whole turn where they're trying to remove your big giant threat. Haste, really good. Anger gives you it for free just by being in your graveyard. A solid card. Next up, Wheel of Misfortune. Now, this card's a little overwhelming and a little confusing, so I'm going to break it down as simple as possible. Basically, 3 people are going to wheel, and the fourth one is not. And the reason that fourth one is not is because he didn't bet enough life. Basically, whoever the 3 people are that bet the most life, they're going to wheel, and the one that bets the most life takes the damage, right? So if you have one that bets 5, one bets 10, one bets 15, they're all going to wheel, and then the guy that bet 15 is going to take the damage, and the guy that bet 0, he's not going to wheel at all. So it really is a fun card. Everybody's incentivized to kind of throw a little life in there because cards are good. Everybody wants cards. Unless they like their hand, then they'll bet 0. And my main point is, 9 times out of 10, when you cast this card, you're drawing the 7 cards, and that's all you care about. Blasphemous Act. I really like this card because it's one of those board wipes where you're really only going to pay 1 mana for it. Additionally, that'll give you time to rebuild your board before everybody else. The problem with board wipes is half the time they're expensive, and you're going to spend your whole turn doing that. And then you pass turn, they rebuild, and then you're left as the 4th guy that has to rebuild. Well, Blasphemous Act kind of makes it to where you can rebuild faster because it only costs 1 mana. That's why I love it. That's why it's in the deck. Blasphemous Act. Vandal Blast. Vandal Blast is in the deck because of all the other cards I mentioned, right? If you noticed, I mentioned a lot of cards that generate treasure tokens. Treasure tokens are rampant right now, and Vandal Blast can get rid of all of those pesky treasure tokens, which is why it has gained so much price recently, but it's also why it's still worth including. You don't want them to have a huge turn with their stockpile of treasures. You want to have that turn, so Vandal Blast can help you make that happen. Lastly, we have Tybalt's Trickery. It's a counterspell in red. Pretty insane. The only thing is there is a catch. They're going to exile 1, 2, or 3. It's random cards from the top of their library, which is kind of good because it gets rid of any, top deck manipulation on their part. But then they're going to dig deep until they reveal a spell, and they're going to cast that for free. So it could bite you, but 9 times out of 10, you're only casting this on a spell where they're trying to win the game with it. We're talking about big bombs. You don't counter someone's removal spell with this. No, you save it for when they're trying to win the game, because honestly, if you go ahead and counter a removal spell with this, 9 times out of 10, they're going to flip something worse from the top of your library. So it's kind of like only use it when you need it, but you're glad it's there. That's gonna do it for the video, guys. Let's leave in the comments section, some more suggestions for those red players out there. Just help those new players out, find cards that they've never heard of, and some powerful cards that can really ramp up the deck, because that's the overall goal of this series, to help out those newer players and maybe some, older players that have not seen these cards. As always, guys, I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors, and I'll see you in the next one.